Hey guys, it's Kerry with Divine Radiance, and today I want to talk about how to negate bad karma and how to use the law of cause and effect to start creating your heaven on earth. That's right, no matter what bad karma you've accumulated, I will show you step-by-step instructions on how to stop that pattern, stop those negative patterns that we don't want in our lives, and start creating new realities. So start creating our heaven on earth. So I don't believe in hell. I believe we create hell on earth. We either create hell on earth or heaven on earth based on our actions. Now our actions include words, thoughts, feelings, right? And as well as our actions. So anything negative that we put out is going to come back. So what karma is a sum of a person's actions in this life and in previous lives that create our fate or our divine blueprint. So they say the day we are born, the reason why astrology is actually pretty effective is the stars on the moment that we're born contain our karma from past lives, which also can be looked at patterns and challenges that we need to look at, things to help make us grow, right? They're not punishment, right? They're just ways to help us grow spiritually, right? So these are, the stars contain it. But I want you to know that we are more powerful than even our stars. And this video is going to teach you those steps that you can take to overcome any negative patterns, whether that's your genes, your challenges, your patterns, your situations, your lessons, all of that we're going to be able to overcome. So the law of cause and effect, right, is basically every single action in the universe produces a reaction, no matter what. And every single effect has a cause, an original starting point. And it's of equal value, right? However, whatever negativity you put out, you're going to get that same type of negativity and the same strength back at you. So it's not punishment, right? Karma isn't punishment. It's just letting you know that the actions you're doing aren't producing the right effect, right? So if we don't like what we're seeing, if we don't like the effects, we have to change the cause. But what I found a lot in our society is that we just want to change the effect. We want something quick and easy to change the things we don't like, when really we just have to go back and look at what's causing them. So we will take a look at that. But we are definitely more powerful, and God wants us to use this, right? So this karma that's producing this pattern of pain, right, is really just prodding us to remember to use our power, right? This pain, it's not punishment, it's just letting us know we're on the wrong track. We're making the wrong actions, and these actions are being reflected as negative effects. So if we don't like what we're seeing, we just have to go back. And the pain isn't what's bad, right? The pain is actually just letting us know we're off track, and it's prodding us to remember that we can change it. That's why eventually the same pattern over and over again, we hit our bottom. We're like, that's it, no more. Like, I don't want this pattern anymore. And that's probably why you're watching this video, because you're probably at a point, something in your life that you're like, I want to change this pattern. I don't want it anymore. So that's what we're going to look at, right? So, and let's have fun doing it, right? That's very important. Let's have fun clearing out this negative karma, because just stress alone is just going to create more of that in our lives. So let's have fun doing it. So I'm going to go through the steps and how this works. So the first step is to take anything negative as it comes, okay? The important thing is not to react negatively. Otherwise, it will just perpetuate. So say finances are what you struggle with in this life. That's a challenge. And you get another bill, and you're like, oh man, I can't believe this bill. I don't have enough money. Where's this money supposed to come from? No, can't do any of that, right? Or if love is your issue and you go on a date and they stop calling, you're like, oh, this always happens to me. No, okay? Or if it's health, and you start having another pain, you're like, oh my God, another pain in my body. No, right? So the first step is just not to react, right? To just take it. Be like, okay, it's coming. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to stop this pattern, because you got to think of karma as a train, right? And it's just going. It's going, 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 and it's going to keep going until we stop it, right? We have to like put the brakes on and stop the wheels. And this first step is stopping the wheels. I'm not going to react negatively. I'm not going to flip out. Okay, it's here. All right, but I'm going to make a change. Right? It's very powerful to say, nope, I'm not going to react, but I am going to make a change, and I'm going to change this pattern. I'm going to change this. I don't want this anymore. So that's that first step, is not reacting negatively. The second step is you're going to minimize the effect of the bad karma. So what I mean by that is you're actually going to take inspired action in another direction, okay, towards the goal that you want, towards the effect that you want. So let's just say with health, right? You maybe are already going to a health provider, but now you're going to start eating healthy. Maybe you're going to read a book about nutrition, like the China Study is a great book to read if you're serious about changing your health. So read a book like that. Start educating yourself about what foods to eat. Maybe an exercise program. If you're seeing a doctor, maybe you also want to see an energy healer or an acupuncturist or a therapist, right? Add something on to let the universe know, I am taking action. I don't want this pattern anymore, right? So you stop the negative reaction, but now you're taking a step in the other direction, right? And if it's money, let's say then, maybe talk to a financial advisor. Maybe look into investments. You can watch my Change Your Money Energy course on my Kajabi site, right? An hour and a half to help change that money energy. But like take a step in order to change the effects that you don't like seeing in your life. The third step is resist the effect. So this one probably will be the most challenging. You're actually going to resist the effect by feeling the opposite of what that effect wants you to feel. So despite contrary evidence, if you get another bill and you don't have any money, you're still going to feel free, right? Okay, I say this because money itself is just an object, right? What most people are seeking when they want money is they want the feeling of freedom. Freedom of stress, freedom of worry, freedom to buy what you want, freedom to travel where you want, freedom to leave that job that you don't like, right? The feeling that money gives you is freedom. So I want you to embrace that feeling of freedom even in the presence of contrary evidence, okay? This is the more challenging thing. You're going to still feel free and joyful. And when you pay that bill, you're going to pay it with a smile. You're going to say, I'm so abundant, and I'm going to pay that bill. If it's the love thing and you have a relationship that he didn't call again, right? You're still going to feel worthy. You're still going to feel love. You're going to feel attractive. Even if all of those other things you tend to not feel after that happens, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to feel like it was if that guy was so into you and wouldn't stop calling. I want you to still feel that way. In health, the same way. You want to start feeling extremely, feel vitality in your system and feel healthy regardless of how you're really feeling. So you're going to feel what you want the effect to give you, not what the reality is presenting itself with at the time, okay? So a little bit more challenging, but very effective, because once again, if we want that feeling, and we got to feel that first. We think, oh, if I win the lottery, then I'll be happy, or when this happens. No, we have to go back and say, I'm going to feel this anyway. Despite contrary evidence, I'm going to feel it, and that's how you change your karma, you change your pattern. Now, the fourth is very important. It's learning how to receive. I found that a lot of people don't know how to fully receive, whether it's abundance or love. But what we want to receive is God's love, and learn how to feel God's love in our system. Most of us love God, and as we should, but we actually have to learn how to feel and receive God's love, which will change everything. Because if we're not getting abundance, if we're not feeling love from someone else, It just means we're not able to receive. Now, I find this a lot with my clients, right? A lot of beautiful, wonderful women struggle with finding that relationship, right? They find that as soon as they like a guy, or the guy, as soon as he likes the girl, they run, right? As soon as they start to like them, they run. That's showing that you're giving too much, right? You're giving too much. And the lesson, the karma, is to learn how to receive. So you have to learn how to receive love, receive God's love, receive any love, like with my dog, because I struggle with this too. So instead of, I love my dog, instead of loving my dog, I'm learning how to receive my dog's love. It's a little bit of a shift, but that's what I know I need to work on, is I'm learning how to receive. So when you're out on a date, don't put your love on him. Let the love come into you. Feel how attractive you are, how attracted he is to you. Shift your thoughts, not on how attractive he is. I want you to shift it onto yourself. If that's your pattern, then obviously you push out too much. So we're going to learn how to receive. We're going to learn how to receive. And you'll find that learning how to receive God's love, it was hard for me. I had a block in my heart, but I used my willpower so strong to help it bust through, because I was so determined, because I know that was why. That's what was holding me back from receiving everything in my life, is learning how to receive God's love. And you can do this on your own. You can do this in meditation. You can just work on feeling God's love. You'll know when it's there. It'll reverberate right to your whole being. It's beautiful. But if not, I had a block. I had an emotional block that I had to release. It was like an emotional block, and then it came in. So if you can't find, if you're doing it on your own, I do work one-on-one with people. I can help you work through that over the phone even. So, but you can do it on your own. Just practice it, and practice it. Now, the day I did it, I felt the love come through the whole day. And this is for abundance too. If you're not getting financial abundance, you've got to learn. It's learning how to receive. This exercise is for you as well, or for health. Know that you are worthy of feeling all of these things, but really we're just supposed to feel them from God, right? We're not necessarily needing to get anything from the external. So when we receive from God, we're able to give love in such an amazing way. If you think of saints, right? Like say Mother Teresa, she could give, right? But she learned how to receive. She was receiving God's love so tremendously that she never got sick, she never got tired. She could give without needing anything in return. She didn't need affirmation. She got it all from God, and she was able to give. So, I mean, with my clients, and I do energy work on the chakras, I've never had a client that had a balanced heart chakra. All the other chakras, some are good, some are bad, people vary, but in the heart, it's never balanced, because a lot of us don't know how to receive, and we need to learn how to receive as well as give. It's a balance, right? A balance of giving and receiving, and we should always be receiving from source so that we can give. We don't need to receive from anyone externally, not love, not affirmations, not compliments. We should get everything internally. And there's, like I said, everyone has an imbalance in their heart, which is no surprise, because physically, the areas that chakra represents are the ones we see the most common with diseases. So the heart obviously is there. So heart disease, very common. Breast cancer, right? That's there too. Lung cancer, COVID, pneumonia, all of that is in our heart area, because not too many people know how to receive love from God, and they're giving too much. You see it a lot with moms. Moms get breast cancer a lot because they give, and they're not quite receiving, right? We haven't reached the ability. We don't need to reach the ability that Mother Teresa could receive God's love in, but we have to learn to start receiving God's love as well, taking time and rest, take care of ourselves, right? We can't just give. It's got to be the balance. So that's very important. That is step 4. Step 5, avoid addictions and numbing. So remember I talked about pain is the prod, right? Pain is what spurs us to action. If we're not allowing ourselves to feel the pain, if we're just numbing it, then we don't make any action and everything stays the same. or actually can even veer towards more hell on earth, right? Some addictions really can take a downward spiral into creating hell on earth, with drug addiction, painkiller addiction, alcoholism, right? Or even some with porn or sex addiction can really lead down a bad path that creates more hell on earth. So not even are you just staying on the path that you were on, but you're actually veering down towards even more negative karma. So you don't want to numb your pain. You want to look at your addictions. Now, it's not just cigarettes and gambling and smoke, drinking, drugs, right? Social media addiction, scrolling, overeating, emotional eating, Netflix even, right? Anything that you look at or you do to just really numb and just stay stagnant, right? We want to avoid as much as possible. I'm not saying don't ever watch Netflix, but watch if you spend hours upon hours, and instead take the time to look at your patterns and what patterns you want to change and not numb them. Look at it and be like, okay, this is painful. I want to change it. And now I'm going to take these steps to start changing my trajectory towards more heaven on earth. That's what we want to do, right? We want to create, and that will take change, right? We're going to be on the path if we don't make any changes. But if we really want to make a difference in our life and start creating our dream life, we just need to change the trajectory, and all these steps will do it. Number 6 is a forgiveness exercise. So this is huge, especially since a lot of it we don't know what we've done in past lives. We don't know what horrors we've done. I had a realization that I caused a lot of pain in past lives. So I did this huge forgiveness exercise. First of all, I wrote down everyone's name that I knew I hurt, that I remembered I hurt in this life, which wasn't easy. And I sent love out to these people. I asked for forgiveness from them, and I sent them massive amounts of love. And then I did a blanket for everyone that I don't remember in this life and in past life. And it was a heartfelt apology, meaning I cried, I felt the pain that I may have caused. And by doing that, I release it, okay? And then by sending love out to those people tremendously, remember, whatever you put out, you give back. So you're kind of helping. You might not totally eliminate the bad karma coming back to you, but it will be negated a little bit and lessened, because now you're counteracting it with amazing amounts of love. So sending out amazing amounts of love to anyone you may have hurt will help slow it down, so that you don't want to receive that huge wave of negative karma coming in to your life, right? So this will help. So be proactive in that and do that exercise now, and just release it. Release those ties for the past, because what we want to start doing is just producing good from the future, right? So step number 7 is creating inner peace, which is a big step towards that, right? Creating inner peace, I'm going to do a whole other video on it because it's so important, meaning that we can maintain peace within us despite what is going on externally, which is really powerful. So even if someone cuts us off in traffic or calls us a horrible name, we let go from a job, if we can still maintain inner peace, we really change our lives, our future, and the future of the world, right? Because as within, as without, if we can create peace within us, we will create peace without us. It will have to reflect. So bringing me to step 8, which is to stop producing more negative karma, right? So if we want to create our heaven on earth, we got to stop creating more, right? We want to stop the patterns of things we did in the past and now stop creating anything new coming forward. Makes sense, right? But it's very important. So you might say, well, what causes negative karma? Well, you can, number 1, look at the golden rule that Jesus said, right? Treat others as you would be treated, right? Don't do anything to anyone else that you wouldn't want done to you. That means talking about people, right? If a name comes out of your mouth and it's not positive and you wouldn't want anyone else to be saying that about you, then don't say it, right? That'll create bad karma. You can look at the 10 Commandments, right? 10 Commandments, it wasn't about sin so you experience hell in the afterlife. It's about creating hell on earth. Don't do these things, right? They're letting you know the 7 deadly sins: pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, right? Any of those things, right? And you'll notice in the 10 Commandments and in the 7 deadly sins, their actions, their words, their thoughts and feelings, okay? All of those things create. So if it's going to create a negative effect in anyone else's lives or in your life, don't do it, because you'll get it back, right? Some are worse than others. Obviously, murder is really bad because you're not only hurting that person in that person's life, but all the people that loved that person. All of that pain will have to come back to you. I know no one's going to commit murder here, but I'm just letting you know kind of the degree that it works, that not only do you get the karma of the person you do it to, but anyone else who it affects negatively. So say adultery, right? It's a 10 commandment not to do, right? Because you did an oath in front of God, you did a vow, and obviously the pain that it causes that person when you betray them and you cheat on them is extremely painful, and also will affect their family as well. So you're going to get that back. And I just want to note that even if you're the one having an affair with someone you know is married, that negative karma also will come back to you. So you don't want to be doing any more. So I'll go over the 10 commandments real quick. No other God other than me. I would say also don't worship anything material over God, like money, right? Don't put anything above God. Create no idols. I would also say don't treat any celebrity or sports star as an idol. Look at them as equals, right? Don't put them on a pedestal. Everyone's equal in the eyes of God. Not taking God's name in vain. I would also look at that as not, taking God for granted, not appreciating this life. And even if it is, you do have negative things coming in, to actually appreciate it. Say, hey, now I'm aware. I'm going to start making changes. I'm going to do something good, right? I'm going to do that. Keep the Sabbath holy. I would say keep every day holy, right? Keep every day. Make sure it's not just on Sunday that you act good, that it's every day. Honor thy mother and father. I would take it as honor all your elders, all other people, and then obviously no murder, no adultery, no stealing, lying, and coveting. So as you can see, it's actions, it's thoughts. Now I know it's really hard to monitor all of your thoughts, but know that the language of the universe is feelings. Feelings are what create and resonate the most, and feelings are thoughts plus emotions. So they generate your feelings. So if you're feeling bad, that gives you a good indication that your thoughts are going in the wrong direction. So it's hard to monitor your thoughts, but you can monitor your feelings, that when you're not feeling good, to look at what you're thinking about and make changes. So that your feelings are going to reverberate out into the universe, and if they're bad towards someone else, you're going to get that back to you. So that doesn't mean to be positive all the time, right? We want to clear out our emotions. We want to process them properly, so that we don't erupt at somebody in wrath, right? So we want to process our emotions, release any negative emotions to God, right? But release them and process them, and then move forward with this new trajectory, right? Isn't this exciting? So those are the steps to take. I am going to be doing weekly guided meditations to help guide us to connect with our souls more. My next video is going to be on how to pray effectively. So for those of you who have maybe lost faith in prayer, or you feel like prayer doesn't work for you, or you just want some tips, that'll be my next video, because it's so important, right? Because prayer is the language that bridges basically the material world with the spiritual world, and closes that gap and brings us together. So I will be doing a video on that, as well as the meditations. So please subscribe, share, if you know of anyone you feel this could be helpful for. I appreciate any likes or comments, but sending blessings.